Welcome to the Ignition Point podcast, the channel for aspiring entrepreneurs. Today we have best-selling author Richie Norton here with us today. I'm Debbie Hart and Sean Finnegan over here.
So I do this for you?
Yeah.
You can do that. It's all good.
Yeah, so Richie lives in Hawaii. He has the life we all want. He lives on the North Shore. What's a day like for you? You wake up, what does that look like for you?
Well, first I get out a shovel and then I find the hardest place to dig and I dig all day long.
Is that what it is?
That's what I do.
That's beautiful.
Just joking. I walk my dog on the beach and I make some phone calls. You know, I have my things that I do, but Hawaii life is amazing and there's different ways to do it. But I try to watch every sunset because to me, every sunset, you know, is an opportunity to reset. It's a work of art. That's right. It's a work of art. And I just feel like, you know, make the most of each day. So I have a little dog and we walk around, me and my little dog. We make our phone calls together, hang out with my wife. She goes and does Pilates and stuff like that. Kids go surfing, I go surfing, and then we do it all over again.
So your office is the beach.
It is.
I love that. So tell me about your book, AntiTime Management. It sounds like you really live that lifestyle.
AntiTime Management has been really good to me. You know, the idea is, you know, when we were like little kids, our kindergarten teacher said, hey, there's this goal. And then you're going to have to take 10 steps and one day you'll get there. Or they'll say, hey, if you're really good, I'll give you this jelly bean at the end of the day. And I'm saying with anti-time management, you know what? Those ways of doing things, they might work in some instances, but a lot of times those steps are totally unnecessary. And so the idea is in anti-time management, instead of waiting to do the thing you want to do in the future, instead of endlessly working toward a dream, what if you could work from the dream? What if you could build the castle, the sand castle, right? My shovel in the sand, you know, right? Bringing it all together. I was just joking about that part, but now I'm making it real, so now it's a good time. But you know, you build the castle and then the moat. So the moat is your work and protects your lifestyle, as opposed to the other way around.
Ooh, that's a good analogy there.
I love the, talk to us about time tipping. How does that exactly work? How does taking a tip of the time to now?
Think about it this way. Way back in the day when like the Industrial Revolution started, we thought this idea of time management was to help us now like have more free time. In reality, they were measuring every drop of blood, sweat, and tears that workers had. They're trying to squeeze out as much as they could to get as much from them. It had nothing to do with opening up your time. So if you look at people with full calendars today, a lot of times they thought they were time managing, but in reality, they have an empty life. Like the most glorious thing you can have today is an empty calendar, because then you can have a full life. It doesn't mean you're not doing something. It just means that it's handled, so you can focus on the things that matter most. Time tipping looks like living from the dream instead of toward it. It looks like valuing your time and not timing your values.
So I have an example, because I've known Richie for a while, and I finally read his book.
Thanks, man.
Cover for cover. It's such a great book. And my family, like maybe a few months ago, said, hey, we want to go to Oxford for 10 days. Normally, I'd be like, no, my schedule's full. I can't do this. This is just, I'm like, maybe I can get away for a weekend because I'm just grinding. And I thought, no, this is like time tipping at its best. Like taking a little bit of that moment, those golden year moments, and bringing it to now and actually enjoying life, enjoying your loved ones. And I actually went for 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
And I just got back 2 days ago. And it was incredible. It was amazing. And I would have said literally, a few months ago, had I not read the book, I would have said no to that.
Really?
Experience, 100%.
Dude, I love
Look
that.
at you changing plans.
Yeah.
No, this makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
Someone asked me today, like, how's your book going? And I'm just like, you know, I don't know. It's in a bunch of different languages. It's doing its thing. But really what matters, I'm like, people who read it literally change their life. Not in a figurative way. Like, they actually do something different that makes them live happier, you know?
Really applicable.
And it's not in a way that sacrifices, like, all your money or like, your time in a weird way. Like, I really feel like when you sacrifice what you love for success, you get neither. Like, how you spend your time is how you show your love. And so by putting what you love at the center of your life, you can make better decisions that also allow you to be paid in a way that is congruent with the lifestyle you want to live.
So how do you do that beyond being an author?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
How about I share a couple stories, like one from me, and then one from somebody else. But I had written a book earlier called The Power of Starting Something Stupid. And it did well. Brene Brown read it, and she wrote a whole blog post about it somehow, how it was changing her life and her husband Steve's life. And I was like, cool. It blew it up. people started reaching out for help to start their stupid idea. And I couldn't help everyone start their stupid idea. So I started getting into like coaching, consulting, and courses and that kind of junk. But then I said, people who want physical products, what if I could help them make it? So we make over 100 different products at any given time, whatever people need, specifically so they can get their time back. I have an editing company for YouTube or people like creators who want their time back. For me, it's all about how can I do something that gives me time and gives other people time and gets the result that they want from the start. That might sound like crazy. Like, what's he doing and how does this all happen? I get it. But I'll give you a real example. So I have a friend, her name is Syra. I met her, I was giving a TEDx talk in Moldova, of all places. And I asked about her story and I was like, oh my gosh, this story is crazy. She grew up in New York and her dad passed away from a drug overdose. She ended up in California. She was in gangs. She was homeless. It went on and on and on. And then one day she got this thought in her head, you should be a rapper. And she's a little white girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was not part of this whole rapping scene. But because she didn't have the advantage of growing up necessarily in a home where she could take singing lessons or recital or a leotard and dance around, like she couldn't do any of that kind of stuff. She went to a place where you'd go on stage in LA and they would boo you off stage. And she did this every week.
To get booed off a stage.
Wow.
You go get booed off the stage until one day people came to her and said, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? And they taught her how to be, in her own words, like how to be like a rapper and how to like do her nails. Like, they taught her stuff. And you fast forward and she became a Grammy Award winning rapper, along with people like Skrillex, and she does all kinds of really cool stuff with all kinds of really cool famous people. She's an amazing person. I love her. She's like my sister. Like, she's amazing. The reason I share this story is because a lot of times we don't think we have the time, the education, the experience, or the money to do what we want to do, when in reality, when you talk to someone who's retired and didn't live their dreams, they will tell you, because I've interviewed them, they will say, I waited for a time when I'd have more time, more education, more experience, and more money, only to find out that when I got there, I still need more time, more education, more experience, and more money. So to bring it full circle to time tip or to anti-time management, you become it before you become it to become it. So instead of saying, I will do this, because you will always have I will, you say, I am this, and then you show up differently. Then your habits, your strengths, and your goals arrange themselves around the new you, as opposed to randomly choosing habits, strengths, and goals that won't lead you to where you want to be.
And that's why, as you can see, if you read the book, this is what really creates change, because it changes the whole perspective of saying, hey, we've got to just absolutely work 60, 70 hours a week, forget about all the family life, forget about all these other things, and just focus on this. And then we'll make up for that when we're 65 years old and we retire and we do all that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't always think this way. I had a son that passed away. I had a brother-in-law that passed away. My wife had a stroke and lost her memory. She got it back. I had 3 foster kids that came and went. I had a son that got hit by a car and should be dead, but now he's okay. And I ask him, like, are you okay? And he's so okay that he doesn't see himself as being hit by a car. He beat the car. Like, he's Superman. Like, it's a real problem. Like, he's riding these gigantic waves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in life, it's not about what happens to you, but it's about assigning meaning to what happened.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life where I'm like, does God hate me? Like, all these things happen. And then I realized, you know what? Maybe the greatest miracle of faith is having faith when there is no miracle. What if I could love God unconditionally? Love God unconditionally. And when I decided to do that, I could then keep my faith in the things I, wanted to, like, my framework of how I thought. And then on the other side, I could go to work and do the things I was doing without blaming daddy in the sky, without blaming, Mother Earth, and without blaming circumstance. Because the most powerful circumstance you have is the one that's in your head. You can change any circumstance by changing what you think about. So when you show up as I am this new thing, the things you want to have happen change around you, either physically or mentally, like with your perspective.
So how do people learn how to do that?
The first thing you want to do is if you ask yourself where you want to be in 2 years, and you said, I want this and that and this and that, you'll probably end up asking one more question. What's the goal of the goal? If you ask yourself the goal of the goal, you'll find out that the goal of the goal is usually something that's free. I asked this nice old lady what her goal was. She's successful. She said, I just want to watch my grandkids on the beach. But she thinks she needs to take another 5 or 10 years to do that. And I'm like, that's free. And you can do that right now. So it's kind of a wake-up call. A lot of those things that we love don't have to be waited for in the future. There are things we can do right now. So ask yourself, what's the goal of the goal? Because one more thing, a goal from experience is a task. A goal outside experience is growth. This is something you haven't done before.
Yeah.
This requires a new way of thinking.
It does. Oh, thank you so much. That's
What,
powerful.
what's the best way to engage with you, Richie?
RichieNorton.com, RichieNorton.com/time. I have a free guide where people can, go step by step in trying to make anti-time management and time typing work for their life, so that it's not about controlling your time, it's about who controls your time.
Ooh.
Who's your best follower, would you say?
Obviously you, bro.
Yeah. I literally watch every one of his
He's always there
videos.
on my story.
I watch
my
a
videos,
comment.
He likes everything's introducing
Yeah.
to people like this guy.
Because as you've
bro.
seen, he's an incredible thought leader. You've seen some of
Yes.
those today. Is like when he gets in and he really uses that mind. It is mind altering for people, and that's what I see on your channel as well. You're giving so much value and content and to people.
Thanks, brother. I really like. I don't want to miss an opportunity, you know what I mean, to help and to share, but also just hope that no one else in their own lives misses an opportunity. And then we always look for ways to do what we can right now, because we never know how much time we have.
Amazing. Thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Love this guy.
We're making it up, guys.
Yeah, this is awesome. That's
That's
awesome.
true.
Thank you so much, Richie.
Thank you.
Appreciate
so
you,
much.
buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If any of you watching today have any doubts that your current CPA is not helping you take 100% advantage of the deductions you deserve and helping you stay compliant with the IRS, then don't hesitate to get involved with TaxHive today. You won't be disappointed.